What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Cyrus Obsidian here at Obsidian Games, here to bring you some more Yu-Gi-Oh content. So let us dive right in. So for today's locals, we are running it with Shining Sarcophagus. We figured we did pretty well in Master Duel. Let's see if we can do even better in the TCG. We are making some changes to the deck, more of a going second, board breaker. The deck does look really weird, but I promise its weirdness is to its advantage, or so I hope. So let me show you the deck profile, and then we're going to head out to locals to see if we can do well before our sneak peek, which is going to be tomorrow, which I will be doing a video on that as well. So let's show you the deck profile. All right, so I am super excited to rerun this deck. Let me show you the profile that we have cooked up with. I think it's pretty solid. So to start out, we are playing 2 copies of Gandora G, the Dragon of Destruction, 2 copies of Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic, 3 copies of Gadget Trio, 1 copy of Silent Magician 0, and 1 copy of Silent Swordsman 0 for our Shining Sarcophagus monster lineup. I think this is pretty solid and pretty standard to have in your main deck. As you definitely saw, we did have Archfiend's Advent in our side deck, because I think it's going to be a really good side deck card going second, just for the opportunity to steal cards from our opponent. Next, we play 3 copies of Future Silence. This gets us into any of our Shining Sarcophagus monsters, which is really good and critical. And then the beast itself, 3 copies of Shining Sarcophagus. So Shining Sarcophagus gets you into anything and everything that you need for this engine, which is really good because we need that. 2 copies of Turn Silence, because opening it and having more than just 2 hurts the consistency a little bit. So we're playing it at 2 because we want to see it, but we don't want to see it so often. 1 copy of Ties That Bind. Ties That Bind is just kind of like a going first card. Definitely can side it out going second though, because you really don't need it going second. And then 1 copy of Secrets of Dark Magic for our honorary Shining Sarcophagus card. So overall, I think playing the card count at this is pretty accurate, pretty standard as for how you want to be consistent with the deck. And with this version of the deck, playing a secondary engine, such as the one that we're playing in 3 copies of Kashtira Fenrir, really gets the ball rolling and baits out a lot of hand traps too. 2 copies of Unicorn and 1 copy of Rise Heart. So that's pretty it for our Kashtira lineup for monsters. We do follow it though with 3 copies of Pressure Planet Ratesoth and 2 copies of Kashtira Birth, because this is the same situation where we want to see it, but we don't want to see too many copies of it. Fenrir alone is like pretty much just a 1-card combo into our Shining Sarcophagus engine, which is really good. It does use our normal summon though, which does hurt if the normal summoned Rise Heart gets impermed, veilered, whatever. But it does bait pretty well into hand traps, which is nice. And then moving on, instead of playing hand traps, we are playing a board breaker approach in our main. We are maining 3 copies of Triple Tactics Thrust. Thrust gets us into a lot of cards for our deck. Unfortunately for the Shining Sarcophagus engine, it just gets us into Ties That Bind, which isn't that useful. And for the Kashtira engine, it literally gets us into nothing. But the cards that we play alongside it with 3 copies of Ultimate Slayer, it does get us into that when we need it. Unfortunately, it does not get us into Book of Eclipse, but that is just a great board breaker overall. What it does get us into is our 1 copy of Tactics for going second, our 1 copy of Prosperity, and believe it or not, our 1 copy of Dimensional Barrier and our 1 copy of Different Dimension Ground for going first. So yes, it does look a little odd playing these in the main, but I kind of like it being in the main. It gives you a lot more options in when you do lose the die roll, because that is going to happen. And sometimes this deck just does want to go second and just OTK going second, which it can do, which is really great. Moving to the extra deck, which this has changed up a lot. We are just playing 1 copy of Dragoon, since that is all we need, since we're not playing any of the pot cards, we're not like risking our, aside from prosperity, we're not really risking a lot like off of extravagance like we used to. So only one Dragoon is necessary. And then we are playing one number 100 Numeron Dragon, one Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, one Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack, one 97 Draglubion, one Hope Harbinger, and one Meteorologic Aggregator. So this is our XC lineup. Like I said, the Fenrir is a 1-card combo into the engine, and that can be explained a little later in another video. If you guys want that, let me know. But this is pretty good. Mainly Ultimate Slayer, we do need the Aggregator. And then for the rest of our extra deck, we're playing one copy of IP Masquerena, one SP Little Knight, one Platinum Gadget, one Dark, one Nightmare Phoenix, one Selene, one Access Code, and one Underworld Goddess. So a lot of the links are really just fodder for prosperity. Platinum Gadget and SP are primarily the two that you do keep. You can climb into Access Code with Selene and doing link climbing that way. It's not often that you do it, but you can do it. Moving to our side deck, where things do get a little interesting, we are playing one monster, and that is Archfiend's Advent. I think Advent's really great going second. You just take out Ties That Bind, put in Advent. Since you can normal summon it, as long as you control Shining Sarcophagus, you can just normal summon it. On summon, it'll just steal opponent's monster like a Change of Heart. It'll grant all other monsters you control 500 attack during your turn only. And then the monster you stole, as long as you have Shining Sarcophagus, at resolution, it can attack, which is cool. So you get a free monster that you can just beat your opponent with. And then we play a lot of board breaker like cards. We do play one Call By if we need to, for just interrupts. 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet, 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More, and 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster, just to kind of like do a lot of monster negation, get rid of back row stuff. Again, for going first when we lose, we do play 3 copies of Solemn Strike. I think Solemn Strike is a little underrated. You're seeing a lot of people like sideboard that card, and it's like really unexpected. The one thing to watch out for is Gandorji's Effect. That can put your life points dangerously low, so just be wary on that. And then Evenly Matched, again, I will die on a hill with Evenly Matched, and since you have Thrust can get you into Evenly, can get you to Harpy, can get you to Dark Ruler No More. So I mean, you're really cooking with this. So that is the deck that we are going with for tonight. Let's see if we can summon the little Yugi in us and somehow manage a top. All right, so here we are at Duke City Games, and the tournament just ended because it was very small. We literally just had 3 rounds because there were 7 of us, which was pretty nice. Was expecting more, but that's just how it be when there's other shops that are having sneak peeks tonight. So round 1, we play against the new White Woods Azamina. The store decided that this weekend they were going to allow Supreme Darkness to be free, so all the new cards were good to go. We go in game 1, we win die roll, we try to set up a board, we set up pretty mediocre. Not one game this entire duel have we been able to set up the Hope Harbinger Dragoon with spell set and, you know, interrupts for days, but it's how it be. We did manage to get Dragoon out in game 2 of round 1. But yeah, round 1 we set up a decent board. He's able to just crack it, and we just had a little bit back and forth. Game 2 we tried to push through. We didn't open up the best, but we still managed to get the Dragoon somehow, which was really weird. And we kind of just stalled on it. No, it was the other way around. We got Dragoon game 1, a lot of back and forth. Game 2 it was just swept. Round 2 we played against a kid. We were able to go just kind of full combo. We were able to get into Dragoon access, and we just were able to prevent him from playing. And then game 2 we were just OTK'd through his board. Round 3 we played against Malice, and I knew there was no way we were going to beat Malice playing the deck myself. He made one tiny slip up, and that cost him game 1. And it was just a misplay, zone choicing, and then like I had the Shining Sarcophagus to be able to get rid of what he'd summoned back from the grave with Splash Mage, and that was enough to stop him in his turn.
And then games 2 and 3, he just totally took me. I even lead his board, but it still wasn't enough to push through. Game 3, he even lead my board, and I didn't have a lot, so he was able to take it either way. So we ended up taking last place, which sucks, but that's what we get for trying to bring back a deck that's like dead. We gave it our best. We tried. Tomorrow is our sneak peek for Supreme Darkness, and we are thinking of running it back with Malice, just because that is the best deck that we've got at the moment. And it did get new support. I was able to get a box, and I was hoping to pull all the hero stuff, and I'm one card short of being able to play heroes. So if we manage to get the one card tomorrow, then we'll play heroes, but we'll see. But that is it, everyone. I'll pass it over to you.